This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5. In Europe, it might be called something different. Give a shout out in the comments if you know what that is. Anyway, what's exciting about this is it has an AMD processor inside. Well, a couple of years ago, that wouldn't be an exciting thing. But now with the latest Zen 2 architecture inside, this thing is really going to perform nicely compared to Intel. And beyond that, going back to the actual laptop itself, for a really good price, around $769, you can get a pretty nicely configured model. It has a full HD display, supports touch and pen, and the pen's in the box for the one at that price. You get a Ryzen 5 4500U, which competes with the Core i5 and Intel's LAN, but performs a little bit better. And you get 16 gigs of RAM and a 256 gig NVMe SSD. Nice. We're going to look at it now. And now a shout out to our sponsor, Keeper Security, keeping you safe on the net and everywhere else is the idea. So basically they are a password manager on steroids with additional features. And the nice thing about Keeper is it's multi-platform, so you can use it on Android and iOS and on Windows and Mac, and yes, it's a native Mac client. You can also access via a web browser, so that's pretty nice. So you've got your usual secure password manager with syncing if you go for the unlimited version across multiple devices, yay that. And also they have a couple of other interesting features like offline storage. Say you want to keep a photo of your passport or something like that safe and on your device and not on the cloud or anywhere else. You can do that. They also have an add-on called Breach Watch. So besides the fact that it's going to let you know if your passwords are weenie too easy to figure out or if you haven't changed them forever, it will actually look at it on the dark web and look to see if your username and password combos have been in the leaks. So you know you ought to change those right away because you know how slow companies can be to let you know about that. Be sure to visit the link in the description and use our promo code to save 20% on Personal and Family Edition and also in any add-ons like Breach Watch. And now back to our video. So this is a 14-inch convertible laptop. For those of you who find things like the high-end yoga laptops too expensive, but you like a lot of what Lenovo is doing here. You get a backlit keyboard and Microsoft Precision trackpad. The combination of plastic on the lid and ABS plastic on the bottom. For this price, that's pretty fair. Again, for the well-appointed model that we're looking at, it's $769. You could spend a little bit less and get only 8 gigs of RAM and all that sort of thing. You know how that kind of rolls. But if you want to spend a little more on that, you can order it with a 512 gig M.2 SSD. It's also an upgradable SSD, so you can upgrade it yourself, unlike the RAM, which is soldered on like most Ultrabooks these days. So the Ryzen part, let's talk about that for a little bit. So what a difference a year makes, right? Several years ago, AMD's mobile CPUs just ran hot, the battery life was terrible, and then last year they got better. At least they didn't run hot and the battery life wasn't terrible, but the performance wasn't really there versus the Intel CPUs. Witness the Surface Laptop 3, for example, available with both Intel and AMD CPUs. We reviewed them both, and boy, there was a difference in performance there. So this year with the Ryzen 5 4500, and there's the Ryzen 7 4700U, which, as you might guess, competes with the Core i7, and the Ryzen 5 competes with the Core i5. Well, the performance is here, folks, and so is the battery life, and the thermals on this are quite good. In fact, a little bit better than we usually see from Intel, which means the CPU core temperatures are actually running about 5 degrees centigrade cooler compared to Intel. All very good stuff here. From the benchmarks, you can see it benchmarks very well. The real-life performance is very responsive, so swing. And for those of you who are thinking conspiracy theories and all that, why we didn't review them sooner, it's all because of COVID, folks. PR departments are pared down and working from home. We're just getting review units in more slowly. Of course, we'll be getting more in so we can look at more AMD systems this year. Yay that. So back to the laptop itself. The full HD IPS display supports touch and the included with our version pen. There might be versions that are less expensive where you have to pay extra for the pen. It's like $35, and it's what Lenovo usually uses, which is Wacom AES. And I like that a little bit better than the N-Trig technology that HP uses in the competing NVX360 line. If you look at this display, you'd say, oh, that's pretty nice. You probably might even think it's 100% of sRGB like you might see on $1,000 laptops or sometimes even $900 laptops. But the metrics aren't actually that good. It's surprising. The contrast is great on it, but the color gamut on this is kind of weak sauce wimpy. You can see the values on screen, but If you're not doing this as a pro who's doing photo and video editing and all that sort of thing, it's not that bad. I would have liked to have seen Lenovo step up the game a little bit, but then again, this product starts around $560 for the cheapest configuration, so they can't throw too high-end parts in there. So we'll forgive them that. Anyway, not bad to look at, but not something for you pro photo video editors and display quality mavens out there. It's 3.3 pounds, which is 1.5 kilograms, and 20.9 millimeters thick. So not the lightest, but not inordinately heavy. Again, for the price, that's fair. What you're paying for when you buy a more expensive Ultrabook, generally speaking, is lighter weight and thinner materials and all that sort of thing. In terms of build and fit and finish, it feels durable enough. It feels strong. There's no seams or ugliness or anything like that on it. It's not bad looking, it's not fantastic looking. It's available in the darker gray that we have and a platinum gray as well. I leave it up to you as to which you like better. The laptop has a USB-C port, which is also used for charging. Now, in this price range, you don't usually see Thunderbolt 3 anyway, but that's still a gotcha with AMD's platform because, well, Intel developed Thunderbolt 3, and now it's available to everybody to use, but it's going to take some time. So typically with AMD laptops right now, we're not going to see Thunderbolt 3. You also get two USB-A, a full-size SD card slot, HDMI, and of course an audio jack. So connectivity for a 14-inch convertible, that's pretty decent. In terms of heat and noise, like I said, the processor is doing really well here. This is a pretty good sized fan on it, but you don't really hear it very much. And this 7-nanometer CPU, impressive also because that's tiny, and Intel has been struggling just to get down to 10 from 14, let alone going down to 7. It means more power efficiency, generally better heat and all that sort of thing. So this is not going to derange you with heat or with noise. Now, if you're pushing it like really, really hard and doing, 4K video editing or something like that, then it will get a little toastier and a little louder, but in everyday use, not so much. It has two 2-watt speakers with Dolby Atmos branding on board, and they're pretty decent, they're pretty loud, and they have some bass. For the price, they're actually not bad, and they're up-firing, not down-firing, so that helps a little bit with a convertible, always, multiple positions and all that sort of thing, so, But it's always a challenge with convertibles. There's always going to be some position where it doesn't sound as good. The pen is 4,096 pressure levels, and it's Wacom AES technology, which is pretty darn good. It's not Wacom EMR, it's not professional artist grade, but I like it pretty well. It's pretty good palm rejection. The diagonal lines, they're okay, a little jittery and all that sort of thing, but still you can have some fun doing art on this, and probably it's really intended mostly for the note-taking crowd, and that works just fine. It has a 52.5 watt-hour battery and comes with a 65 watt fast charger, so it can do like 80% of a charge in an hour, which isn't bad. So that's a pretty decent sized battery capacity. Lenovo claims around 10 hours in most of their spec sheets, and we saw about 7 to 8 or so, which for an AMD system or any system, given that battery, is not bad. It could be even more wow and impressive, but that's pretty solid stuff, especially in this price range. I don't have complaints about that. The only complaint I do have is on our unit anyway. I heard a little bit of coil whine from the laptop only when it was plugged into AC power. That little bit of a sound, not too loud, but for those of you who are really bothered by coil whine. It's on ours anyway. To take off the bottom cover, unscrew the Torx T5 screws that are all visible. They are different lengths, so pay attention. For example, these two are a little bit longer. So this is ABS plastic according to Lenovo on the bottom. You just pop that off, not too hard. And here we have the internals. That's a pretty good sized fan. Maybe that's one of the things that helps this AMD CPU stay nice and cool, which it does. RAM is soldered on here, again, 8 or 16 gigs, so get it with the amount that you want. We have our M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, it's SK Hynix in art, and it's a half-length one, but obviously there's enough room to put a normal full-length M.2 SSD in there should you want to upgrade it yourselves. Lenovo offers it with up to 512 gigs capacity. There's our Realtek Wi-Fi card. It's socketed, so you could swap it out if you wanted to. And there's our 52.5 watt-hour battery. The speakers are up-firing, so we don't see them down here. So that's the Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5 14-inch laptop with AMD inside, and AMD is finally back, baby, and doing really well here. I like this. This has a nice selection of ports. It's full-size SD card slot. You get a pen-capable display, 360-degree hinges, all for a nice price. Yes, the display could be better, but subjectively, it actually looks pretty good. So for the price, you also want to look at the HP Envy 13, the X360 model that competes with this, and they also are doing AMD. They both have their pluses and minuses, but this one is certainly solid in the keyboard too. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos and hit the notification bell.